we're asked to graph this function using Newton's grapher, which can definitely be frustrating. But so it's secant of x. It's just had a lot of different shifts that have happened to it. And so one thing you can do to graph this is you can think of cosine. If you can graph 1/2 cosine parentheses 2 parentheses x minus pi 3 pi over 4, you'll see that secant is tangent at the peaks of the amplitude of cosine. So that's one way of approaching this problem. I actually don't remember which way Newton teaches it off the top of my head. Yeah, I guess we can just jump straight to using the grapher. Secant, makes all these lovely U-shapes happening. You've got a whole bunch of vertical asymptotes happening. Those vertical asymptotes are happening when you have divide by zero problems. So you have secant. Here, let me see if I can copy this over real quick. Okay, so we've got secant, which is the same thing as 1 over cosine. So this is the same thing as 1 over cosine 2 times x minus 3 pi over 4 minus 2. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So we're looking for vertical asymptotes where we have divide by zero problems. So when cosine of 2 parentheses x minus 3 pi over 4, when that equals 0. So cosine, we can go back to what we know about cosine. Cosine represents the x coordinates on the unit circle. So cosine would be 1 when we have 0 degrees. Cosine is going to be 0 when we have pi over 2 for radians, or 90 degrees in other words. So we want to find out what it takes to make the inside equal pi over 2. So 2x minus 3 pi over 4, we set that equal to pi over 2. And when we solve this equation, we're finding out where we have a vertical asymptote, because that's going to make cosine equal 0, and then if you plug in a 0 in here for what cosine is, that would be a divide by 0 problem, so hence a vertical asymptote. So if you solve this equation, you want to multiply both sides by 1/2, or in other words, divide both sides by 2. So you get pi over 4. Let's see if I can move this. And then add 3 pi over 4 to both sides, so you're going to get x is pi. So we should expect to have vertical asymptotes. We should expect to have at least 1 at pi here. Okay. Let's see what else we need to do for this function. Minus 2 is a vertical shift, so the horizontal line should be down at -2. And then there's a phase shift happening. Look what they say. Make sure to move the points in the direction of the phase shift represented in the function. What they mean is, if you're subtracting 3 pi over 4, phase shifts go in kind of a counterintuitive way. That means we go to the right 3 pi over 4 units from starting. So, which button do we do? Looks like this one, yeah. Okay, so here we are at where secant of x would usually originate from. We need to be 3 pi over 4 units to the right. If you go 3 pi over 4 units to the left, it's not going to graph correctly. We need to go 3 pi over 4 units to the right. There's pi over 2, there's pi, so this is 3 pi over 4. And then the final part, the amplitude, a 1/2. That means it's 1/2 from this orange dot to the top, and 1/2 from the orange dot to the bottom over here, to where the sine function picks up. So it started like this. I brought it down so that the amplitude of cosine would be 1/2. Imagine the cosine wave going directly between these two. Okay, I think I've got everything. I've got, it looks like 3 pi. No, I'm supposed to have a vertical asymptote here. That got shifted. It's supposed to be a vertical asymptote at pi, we said, right? So I had to move my black dot over here. That way I have my vertical asymptote in the correct spot. Okay, I think we got everything now. That's 3 pi over 4 for our phase shift. You could check to make sure the period's right using the period equals 2 pi divided by b. So this is our b. So our period should be repeating itself every pi units. And it is, because if we start at 0, we're repeating ourselves back when we get to pi. Everything's here. Okay, and the big thing, I guess, that if students are knowledgeable of this, but if they're getting it wrong, it's usually this part right here. That minus 3 pi over 4 means I gotta move it 3 pi over units to the right. Some students would move it 3 pi over 4 units to the left. They get the same graph, but that's not enough for Newton to mark it correct.